the logistics tech sector, or LOGTECH. We have the new entrants coming into this global logistics landscape of what we call the logistics tech sector, or LOGTECH, where we have 7 categories identified by Drury, where new entrants are leveraging, usually new entrants, are leveraging technology in order to penetrate into the logistics, freight, and transport sectors. So we have these 7 sectors here, and I'll populate them just now with the logos of some of the brands that are in there. And we can only expect further consolidation to happen, in that all these logos won't be here in 12 months' time, because they'll be gobbling up each other to gain scale. And a huge amount of this is fueled by venture capital, of which there is an abundance at a time when interest rates generally are low. So a lot of these companies here don't have to think about making a profit, not like normal businesses. They think about getting more venture capital funding. How much can we spend on marketing? How can we drive transaction volume? How can we drive click rate? How can we drive sign up? What about profitability? Nobody cares about that right now, because they'll accumulate the scale, they collect all the data, and then in 5 or 6 years' time they'll consolidate, and then they'll IPO, and the venture capitalists will get very rich. Some of them. So amongst the players, the providers in the global logistics landscape, there's a huge amount of change going on, both the traditional players and the new entrants into the sector. So let's look briefly at 3 examples. My clock's running down here. I want to look at 3 examples that have come from different directions but are still Premier League players. One of them, the first one, is my alma mater, one of my alma maters. And this is what I see as the senior statesman of the industry. Founded in 1907, even older than I am. And they spend millions and millions of dollars on technology, as well as having 60,000 drivers on the road every day, just in the United States. 2 of their latest initiatives. One is the Orion. It's a bit of a mouthful. It's called the On-Road Integrated Optimization and Navigation Platform. And what this does is, as they're loading the packages onto the van for the final mile distribution, their technology, whilst they're loading it, is optimizing the route schedule that that van driver is going to take as they're loading the van. So you've got 120 packages to go on the van. The driver's there. He knows he's got to make 120 deliveries. He has no idea what route he's going to take until the van is finished loading. And then he gets it in the system, and then he's off. And in doing that, they say it eliminates 100 million miles a year, which saves them 10 million gallons of fuel with an overall saving of $400 million. This is big stakes. These giants have so much volume that every second counts. They call it how not to drive a mile. So for every mile that the drivers don't drive, it's money flowing to the bottom line. Another one is UPS My Choice. They've recently announced this, where the consumer has a choice of where they want their product delivered to. It could be to your home, which is traditionally what we do. It could be to a convenience store. It could be to a locker system. It could be to a gas station. A number of choices that the consumer can make in order to receive the final delivery of their package. And then the pictures show the UPS Octocopter drone, which they've been trialing in rural areas. So this would not work very well in Hong Kong, where I live. The challenge there is, how do you get to the 70th story of the apartment block to make the delivery when the elevator is broken? This is out in rural areas where you've got a delivery here and you've got another delivery 3 miles away, and then the next delivery is 2 miles over there. What this optocopter does is the van with the drone goes to delivery point 1. As you can see, the van driver releases the drone, which takes the second package to delivery point 2. The driver makes the first delivery. The driver goes to going underground through major mega cities. Who knows where this might go? Fascinating. They're also recently announced, just in the last month, a partnership in Japan with Rakuten to use driverless vehicles and robots for last mile delivery. And just last month they tested a real live delivery in Indonesia using drone technology as well. So a fascinating story of a young company coming from out of the China e-commerce boom and really operating a major logistics company. Now the difference between JD, another difference between JD and Alibaba is JD Logistics is its own in-house logistics division. Alibaba uses a network called Cainiao, which multiple logistics operators participate in. But this is wholly owned JD Logistics, and I would expect they would IPO that within the next 3 years. And then finally, you couldn't mention transformation in the logistics space without the world's most transformational company in many aspects. Amazon, again, relatively young company, they started doing their own transport in 2005. So compared to the Deutsche Post or the UPS or the FedEx, a relatively new company. And Amazon has transformed many sectors. I don't know if you remember, but it originally put bookshops online. That was its founding value proposition. And it has morphed there. It's pretty much the largest retailer. It's up there alongside Walmart as the largest retailer by revenue in the United States. Number two picture is last year it shipped 3.3 billion packages. It has more than 100 million Prime users paying $120 a year. Just think of the maths in that. Number 3 is they piloted robotics in the warehouse with their acquisition of Kiva Robots back in 2012, I think it was. They paid $750 million for a robotics company. Nobody in e-commerce, nobody in retail, and nobody in the robotics sector understood why they would do that, and now everybody understands. They have the ground network, the small vans, the line haul. They have the NVOCC, which you might have seen just recently, was that they're quite private about a lot of the stuff they do, but the NVOCC has now, last year, shipped 5,000 containers from China into the United States. Okay, it's not that much, but that's on Amazon's paper. So the Chinese factory through to the American consumer can have their total supply chain managed by 100% by Amazon. The online platform, the payment, the interaction with the consumer, the ex-factory pickup, the container shipping, the inbound, the line haul, the distribution center, and the last mile, all by Amazon. And when Amazon come into a new market, as they recently did in Australia, it's like, oh my God, Amazon's coming. And I'm not sure who's more scared, the retailers or the logistics providers, because they transformed both sectors. And of course they have the air. They're going to have a air network hub. They've got 45 planes at the moment, I think, and they're on the way to having 100 planes. So it'll never really be, well, never say never. It's not quite a threat to the UPS and the FedEx and the DHL Express. But in the space they want to play in that online e-commerce world, they are revolutionizing the game. Their acquisition of Whole Foods in the United States gave them 465 retail outlets which become distribution point for packages that people purchase through Amazon. So you can go to Whole Foods and collect your Amazon package. Fascinating, really fascinating. And who knows where this will end up.